This is going to be a sleeper 40-minute game. Come on, Elk. I know you got it in you. But yeah, the Sejuani is going to get let open for the side of BLG, so they're more than happy to take it. I do, however, think once Vi is still open, and if BLG decides to opt in something like the Xayah, it's going to be a little bit more tough for Elk for this game too, but really depends on how he pilots this champion. Bin, I mean, yeah, the entire top lane pool is relatively open. We see the Jax getting banned off, which was still a blind one. Maybe Invincible just isn't confident on the champions like Kennen and Gwen when it does match up, so they are just taking that off straight away.
Taking it away, making sure that they are getting themselves a nice scaling matchup in that bot side. The Tristana blind. I'm normally okay with this when you're going for something a little bit aggressive into like a Cassidy, maybe even a Silas. We've seen so many champions kind of fall to the wayside of Tristana, but going in completely blind is just a bit of a strange one for me. We'll see what BLG want to try and respond with right now. The Maokai being locked in for NIP means they know they have a pretty decent setup in terms of that. And I was going to say, the Firoa is totally okay in this situation. Now you can ban things like the Renekton, get those off the board, and that's just going to give Bin, again, another very easy laning phase.
Give me Camille vs Firoa in top lane, or I don't know, Gnar, which is the more boring option. But Tristana being blinded here, definitely a very big ego pick as you are up against someone like Yagao. He has definitely chosen champion in the past, like the Gragas, where it's been flexing both jungle and mid for BLG. I do think it's a relatively okay pick because you do diffuse a lot of those jumps from the Tristana mid lane, but we'll have to see what Yagao decides to opt into, as he was feeling himself in that game one.
Yeah, definitely had a lot more to say in game number one. We'll see in game number two is the same, as we do see some pretty decent counters being banned away. I do like the Syndra ban coming out here from NIP, something that can disengage and honestly just 100-0, something like the Tristana. Maybe even the little Blanc as well. You want to try and get rid of those very powerful burst kind of mages away from this Tristana mid and make sure that they don't get the freedom to just be able to do whatever the hell they like. NIP are going to be struggling, though, to figure out what they want to put into this. And again, you're looking at the top lane bans. Maybe it's going to be a Camille, possibly a Gnar. I do not want to see a Ksante or a Sion into this, but NIP, they finish off their bans, and they do get rid of the Rakan to make sure that Xayah-Rakan combination does not get to full fruition.
Yeah, we already have the Maokai being locked in for NIP and an aggressive mid-jungle duo, so I'm really excited to see what BLG is going to synergize up with this Sejuani, as you do have so much damage with Yagao also locking in something like the Viktor. Not a pick that I specifically enjoy because you are so vulnerable in the early stage, and that's exactly where Tristana shines, so you really need to play your laning phase carefully. But I'm not doubting Yagao, as we have seen great things from him even in this split, where BLG, you don't know which BLG you're gonna get on show day, either heads or tail, and today I guess it's going to be heads, as they dominated NIP in that game one. And you're gonna get locked in here, where a lot of CC for the side of NIP, and I do like the addition, or I guess the flexibility of adding support coming into 2023. We haven't seen this champion at all in professional play for like the past 5 years, where with her Shirelia build on the E, it's going to give Aphelios a little bit more mobility up against something like the Sejuani.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the all-in potential as well gives you that good engage tool to set up yourself up with alongside the Maokai, maybe even the Ksante. And straight away, we already get pretty much everybody locked in, excuse me, as the Nautilus gets brought in here for On, and he just looks the most comfortable on these hard engage hook champions, things that can just catch them out. And again, yes, the Annie has been exceptionally powerful in both mid and support throughout all of the regions of League of Legends, but it is still very, very squishy. You get caught out by a hook, you get hit by a Sejuani Arctic Assault, you are going to die. That's just as simple as it is.
Yeah, most definitely, and we saw how good On was with his hooks in that game one, and Zhuo definitely on the receiving end and struggling a little bit. This dog emoji is so cute. I think that's is it Pumperin? I think from Sanrio with the little thumbs up.
No idea.
I'm not too sure. My friend is
idea.
a big fan of that dog. It's just a pudding dog made out of pudding, so little cute reference for the teams of tonight. But yeah, talking about both drafts, BLG coming with so much scaling and a good teamfight setup with the Nautilus and Sejuani, of course, where this Sejuani ultimate could most definitely follow up as that CC. But on the other side, NIP locking in Ksante up against Firoa, where Ksante will slowly lose the side lane 1v1 depending on how he plays that. I think it really depends on the parry from the Firoa. But in the very end, I think Firoa still comes out on top. However, with this Aphelios in the hands of Photic, they do have a lot more gank setup for Shadow to work with.
Yeah, definitely a lot more to kind of point and click CC. I think something especially on the low mobility of something like a Viktor as well can be very, very powerful. But we'll have to wait and see. NIP, a little bit of a slapping on that last game. Need to find themselves back in. Already on a 2-series loss streak here in the LPL. Do not want to turn that into 3, but for BLG, they want to turn that 1 into 2. They want to get onto a streak. They want to try and start building momentum before they hit those next few games. Of course, we only have 2 and a bit weeks left of gameplay. Actually, I believe this is our final Super Sunday. After this, there's only 3 series on Saturdays. Sundays go back to 2. So that's how you know the end of the split is around the horizon. It's going to be so quick and so crazy to have our Sundays only be 2 series.
Yeah, we're gonna be being chilling after today as this week, as Super Sundays are gonna leave us until the next split, I suppose, since playoffs is 2 weeks away. Are you excited for playoffs? This is going to be the first time I'll be witnessing the LPL playoff format, and it's very intense for the lower tier teams for at least the 10 to 6 position, I believe.
Yeah, it's at 6th to 10th. I think 6th place 10th. No, sorry, 7th. Sorry, 7th place 10th, and then 8th place 9th. And it's best of 5 single elimination until you get to the top 4, and then it's a double elimination bracket. So we will see fair bit of games. And look, we have seen LNG run the gauntlet in the past. WWE 2021 summer as well. They were a team that were able to almost make it all the way. Even LNG last split went all the way from the lower end of the bracket and then ended up being, I think they played the most series or something like that and still didn't qualify for Worlds. They played a ridiculous amount of best of 5s. It was insane, but I think someone did the math. I think it was I Will Dominate did the math or something like that. It's like they played more games than an LEC split at the time than you would have seen from any average team just to play in playoffs and, of course, the regional gauntlet. So lots to be playing for. Of course, 2 spots at MSI. Top 2 is, I believe, going to be our 2 teams. So if you get to finals, you're in there. So that's why position actually matters. You get a top 2 in the regular split. You're already against a top 4 in the playoffs, and you get double a limb. So plenty to be coming out with here for any side that can make it up there. And you got to put in the work. You know, there is no easy matchups in the LPL.
I've been telling you, Oisin, as long as you get into playoffs with that top 10 position, then there's always a chance. And sometimes we can pray that there is going to be a miracle run for one of these bottom tier teams. But really see how the matchup for this bottom lane is going to go, as NIP decide to opt into the Ghost and Heal for this laning phase, where they don't have too much kill threat, but that's exactly what you want to look for with the Aphelios for this game too. Relatively scaling with these double ADCs as they do major objectives and take down turrets extremely fast.
Well, there's the stats for LPL 2023. 100% win rate for Tristana in the bot lane. Only has been played once, but 77.7% in the mid lane. 7 and 2. Interestingly set up here to see if Dream can continue that winning wave here for the Tristana. No
Did he get spotted?
I don't know. He will now as he goes over this ward, but definitely could have been a moment or two. Maybe he could have gone for something, but just wants the Scuttle to move forward. Shadow is here. May look to try and fully engage onto this. Need to be very careful with how they want to try and approach this one here. Dream is the first one to kind of move forward. On is just going to accept his fate. As you can see, he did a very valiant effort to move forward to make sure he was not getting caught out or getting the rest of his team caught out and doesn't lose any more of his summoners.
NIP is still using all their all their resources on for this game too. But you gotta remember, you're up against Photic, who did have the Graviton available, and of course Zhuo holding on to stun for the first 4 minutes of this laning phase. So it was just double CZ decked onto him, and On didn't even have to burn the flash because he knew he was dead. But this top lane matchup, blinding the Firoa and then opting into something like Ksante, Invincible is just never in a hard winning counter matchup when he is given that position. And I'm really wondering why you even give Invincible something like this when you could just be blinding the Ksante in the top first 3 picks.
Yeah, well, they're going to look for something more. Flash in with the Arctic Assault. There's going to be the Ghost popped in. W landed. Can he get one more Vital Proc? He cannot. Does not get the RNG on that, and that is going to be Invincible. Losing his Ghost, but Bin lost his as well, and they lost the Flash off of Shun as well. So, BLG happy to get those summoners and back themselves away. NIP going to be resetting themselves onto the map, making sure they're not losing anything else out of that gank.
Yeah, most definitely. And Invincible forced to TP back into the lane where it is once again slow pushing into Bin's side as BLG's bottom lane clears out this Tribush pink ward. But my main focus is going to be this Maokai pick for this game too, as it is going to be acting as that solo AP where you definitely need those items online ASAP, as if Shun decides to opt into just full tank army, he is going to opt into full tank and build that armor. I mean, it's all up to Shadow and playing around those saplings for these major objectives. So it's going to be really tough, and a lot of eyes on Shadow for this game too, where we didn't see the best performance in game 1, and that was because of PG from the mid-jungle duo of NIP. And we were talking about this in break where it's really questionable, to say the least, to bring in a completely new mid-jungle duo when you are this late into the split, because you do break the synergy that the previous duo was already creating from just how many series they played together. And with Dream and Shadow not working together in the past, this is quite literally their first stage game together, and we definitely see that working in the favor of BLG for the series.
Yeah, well, full-on engage coming out here on the bot side. On did know that Shadow was there. Now he might be in a little bit of trouble. Insta-cleanse. They bring the feathers back as well. Shadow doing a lot there. On needs to flash away, but the grab on him is good. One more auto attack from Zhuo is just enough. And that was a very interesting setup there for BLG. They saw Shadow. He was clearing a ward, and he still thought they could go for the fight.
I mean, maybe On thought with the flash available, he was definitely not gonna die, burning Zhuo's flash as well. The kill did go into the Annie support's hands, however, so it's not the most terrible thing, but this early game is looking a lot better for the side of NIP for this game too, as they also secure the first dragon. Shun just hovering around. I don't think he's gonna be here in time as he watches the dragon fall into the hands of NIP.
He's force a
he also
flash.
has to, he has to burn a flash.
Is he? Not sure yet. They're still going. Now he burns it. Well, they maybe think that they were going to try and get it there. So, Dragon for a flash, 2 kills to the good. And IP with a much stronger early game this time around than they did in game number 1. BLG on themselves 1,000 gold down. And again, like, look at this. Like, you see Shadow. You know Shadow is there. Why are you looking for this fight?
My man, with the Glacial as well, significantly less tanky. Elk didn't get too many people with that route, but very questionable play from the support of BLG. The kill does go into Zhuo's hand in the very end, but you burn so many summoners like the Xayah cleanse and the flash from Nautilus. However, with the Hex Flash, it's not the most terrible mistake, but definitely not mistakes that you want to be making for the team of BLG. And we've been talking about this, how BLG, they're very inconsistent, and I think their early game is definitely where you expose it the most, where sometimes they just opt into mistakes.
Yeah, I love the way you... Oh, speaking of opting into mistakes. Oh, I didn't have vision of where Elk and On were. No level 6, though, on the Nautilus or the Xayah, so it will be difficult enough to try and really burn down Dream, but I like how you phrase it as well. Opt into mistakes, because it's exactly how it feels right there. It's almost like they have the information, they know what's going to happen, and they still kind of go, sure, look, we'll go for it. Well, speaking of opting into something, Shadow without a flash, Shadow TV can make something. The all-out goes out, as Dream is the next one to kind of come into this one here. You don't have Yagao in position, and that's a really, again, poor mistake coming out here from the BLG jungler. Just not having the same level of setup as Elk. Lost about 90% of his health bar. They flash forward, not gonna land the Calibrum Q, and everyone just resets here. But this is NIP. It looks like if you showed me the first game and the next game without any kind of team names, I would assume it was 2 completely separate teams, because this does not feel like the same teams who fought in game number 1.
Remember when I said BLG, they act like a coin where you don't know if you're going to get heads or tails? It doesn't matter which series. It also matters between games for this series. Game 1, you might see an excellent performance from BLG where they make literally no mistakes, but this game 2, and especially how it's starting, I mean, this is not the same BLG that we saw from game 1, and just... we didn't see Yagao rotating early because you are in that Tristana matchup where she is able to get pushed in first. So very greedy skirmish to opt into at the least for BLG, as Bin was just doing extremely well from just purely laning up against this Ksante, as he is naturally up 20 CS and burning that flash or ghost early from Shun ganking. You didn't need to go for that, just give the Herald over, you didn't have position for it.
I don't know, BLG, you're just not having the same level of impact as I expected from game number 1, as Shun will try and clear out some of this vision before he backs himself away. It is only Shadow and Zhuo, so he should be just fine to do that, just that. Minute 45 to the next dragon spawns. Herald is available to Shadow whenever he decides to use it, and it's gonna, I feel like we are already getting to a point where we are looking towards what Bin can do on this Fiora. He's up 20 or so CS on this top lane pick. He's doing exceptionally well for himself, even though an assist did go over to Invincible. We should see him be able to do a lot more, and you do have plenty of wave clear and farming options here on BLG. Good scaling as well, but just not what I expect to be seeing from them, considering how dominant game 1 was for them. And like you said, this is kind of the story of BLG, so all this split. It's that one game they're doing amazing, the next game they just decide, you know what, we're going to completely lose all map awareness and an idea of how to play this game.
Yeah, BLG, to be fair, they did opt to a completely different type of playstyle for this game too, with this Viktor, Firoa being their solo laners, where they have immense scaling once we do reach those 3 item spikes. So there's no reason for BLG to make or go into any of these skirmishes thinking that they need to fight, as you are just comfortably scaling in this early game, just getting some CS under your tower, where we see both Viktor and Firoa up a little bit in terms of CS, where I think Viktor into Tristana should be more dominant in terms of the 1v1, and she should be up a tiny bit more with that kill threat available. But Yagao, he's chilling.
Yeah, he is. He's just having a fine time of it, really. As we wait to see now, 10 seconds till the next dragon spawns. It's only 1,000 gold lead, and Elk gets caught again. I'm not quite sure what else can really happen here, apart from the rest of his team finally coming in. They will try and burst out Photic. Elk gets taken out first, though. Yagao finally here with the Chaos Storm, but the resets coming out for Dream is he gets another move, and they're just dancing so perfectly with their health bars. It's a triple kill coming out for Dream, as he's having a Dream quadra kill for the Tristana. And NIP 7-0 to the goods, and BLG, I don't even know what to say anymore. This is a joke of a game number 2 after game number 1.
Icon Oisin, BLG is just giving Dream these kills served on a silver platter, as this Herald gets dropped for Photic, and he picks up all 5 plates, and a Dream coming out with a quadra kill at the second dragon. BLG, what are you doing? You have a Viktor, you have been on his Fiora, you don't need to be opting into these 4v4s, where BLG's bottom lane caught extremely out of position. This Annie definitely putting in a lot of work. You see NIP's mid-jungle moving first. That's exactly what I want to see from NIP, as they lack that synergy in game 1. All focusing in on Photic, and he didn't even die. You're a Viktor in the first 20 minutes. You don't have those items online just quite yet, compared to something like the Tristana. Just the pure damage from her autos. And Dream just played it extremely patiently, where he was just picking these up one by one.
I mean, the juggling of the health bars was honestly exceptional from NIP. Regardless of how BLG actually took that fight, the fact that you saw so many health bars go so low, yet nobody died on NIP, was actually exceptional gameplay. So really well done by them. We will see Elk picking up a couple of plates on the back end of this, just to make sure he doesn't lose everything in this. But it's a 4,000 gold lead, and look, they might be looking for a dive here. I don't agree that you can get a dive here, because you don't have an ult really at all. So they're gonna look for something. Oh, the whiff. Oh no. Oh, Kitty, it
Close
hurts.
your eyes, Oisin,
it hurts.
it hurts. Yagao's here as well. Surely this is a kill for Yagao. Surely they have the damage. They can tank this, right? They can't tank this. Yagao doesn't have the flash. He's dead.
What is happening, BLG? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I don't understand. It is upsetting right now to see how it all goes, but it's just, oh my lord, Kitty. Oh man, this is the LPL. Welcome. How are you enjoying your first
BLG
split?
in the LPL. they are definitely shaky with this game too, as that dive was just very sad to watch, to say the least. I think all the skill shots missed, and Yagao ended up tanking without that tower. It was so strong as well. I think 4 autos onto Elk and On together, and Elk dropped the tower aggro and it went onto Yagao. Oh, there's another.
I mean, it's just so difficult to deal with any of this engage, and you're just losing people left, right, and center. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. It's like, oh, we actually, fun fact, we actually turned around to our on chat and break saying, wow, this is going to be a really quick series. And our director came immediately into our mic going, don't say that. Don't you dare say that. And we're sorry, Damien. We cast a curse.
I'm sorry.
It is
I was
unfortunate.
The one that said, hey guys, this is going to be an early night for us, as BLG, they are looking so good. Clueless, surely. I mean, Invincible, I don't know if he dodged it or Shun missed it. On hits the tower with that hook as well, and Yagao comes in. Why doesn't Shun just tank this? On is still tanking, 2 hits, L tanks 1, and Yagao is in the meat of everything, and he can't walk out. Oh, so sad.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate setup, but now it's 5,500 gold, nearly 6,000 in the lead for NIP. You're hurtling towards second items. BT Rush there for Dream, Gale Force for Photic. And I actually like this as well. I actually had a little chat with Raz in the break there. We were talking about BT Rush, as we saw BT Rush from Elk on the Aphelios in game number 1. This time around, it's Photic on game number 2. I actually kind of like this because he's got himself the Ghost. He's going to have a lot of CC that's kind of pushing onto him. Having that extra little bit of mobility in the rush is very, very good, just to be able to kind of make sure he doesn't die straight away. But you know, it is kind of an adaptation that we are seeing here from a lot of different AD carries with the new BT changes, and of course the changes to some of the runes and masteries. So it is a curious one to keep an eye out, as Photic is pretty damn big. He's going to have his BT pretty soon anyway, regardless of what he rushes first, so it doesn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of the world. And Shelley just gets to do her favorite thing in the world. Here we go. There's going to be a full-on engage. Good flash. Shadow flashes again. Try and get away from this. But you have a Maokai with ultimate. So difficult to make that stick. He can just put down his ultimate. Make sure he can get away. But Bin's on the backside here. Speaking of on the backside, Invincible's looking for something. He actually gets away with the all-out. Very nicely done to dodge away from the Feather. If he gets caught by that, he's probably dead. But it's still 1 for 1. It's still a good situation for BLG, but NIP get the tower as well.
NIP is in such a wonderful state, as the Dragon is going to be spawning in 5 seconds. Bin just trying to get rid of this tier 1 tower in mid lane, as they know they don't have the fighting power up against NIP right now. I believe Tristana sitting on 6-0 with that BT in hand as well, 11-2 in terms of scoreline. Not even going to get this tower, as so valuable to have that thick shield coming to these team fights, as Shun and On, they do have that single target lockdown. So if in case Dream mispositions, he doesn't have the flash available anymore, that shield is definitely going to save him, as this Dragon goes into BLG for some reason.
Somehow, some way, they find a way. That's going to be the Dragon. That gives them 5 more minutes. You got a Viktor, Xayah, Firoa. You've got scaling. Don't know how much else you can go for it. And look, in all honesty, I mean this genuinely, we have seen bigger leads thrown in the LPL. We have seen teams not be able to come out. And look, NIP are a team that are, you know, on the bottom end of the standings. They are a team that are not exactly, you know, playoff contenders for the moment. So if you're able to do it for BLG, this is a good kind of test for you right now to say, look, yes, you can win from ahead. A lot of great teams can, but the best teams can win from behind, and that's where we're going to see now BLG trying to test their mettle right now. Kraken Slayer finished up for the Tristana, means that she's on a massive 2-item spike alongside that Aphelios, so BT's doubled up alongside those hide and quiver items. And we're going to see more and more pressure coming out. I'm
so confused on how BLG picked up that third Dragon. We saw that NIP, they had the entire control around this. And oh my god, I saw his life flash before his eyes. He was looking into danger. I was so scared. My man's already 0-5. I'm sure that he'll go 0-6 at some point in this game, as there's just so much tower taking ability from this Tristana, and Aphelios coming into game 2. But yeah, third dragon going to the hands of BLG means that NIP is still definitely not a perfect game from them, as you have that giant lead, 6k gold or 7k gold lead. And these tiny mistakes do allow teams to come back, as that is just the first step for BLG. And hopefully they start doing something more than just getting caught.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way. And look, you do have positives. Bin will own the side lane against Invincible. He just needs to make sure he does not get caught after the fact. As we can see, there's the Maokai ultimate coming out here to try and catch out Yagao, and he will get caught out in the end of it all. There's the Glacial Prison coming out, though, and that's Shadow going down. Zhuo was tanking turret for some reason, and now you can see the 280 carries we talked about having so much. Dream, one more auto attack, and all of a sudden the money's turning green. The numbers are going up for BLG. They knew they hadn't got any kind of real engage, so Photic's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to be forced to flash away, and there's going to be one more auto attack. He finally gets him over with the dredge line, gets from the depths as well, and they're taking them down one by one, bit by bit. Is that Baron, Kitty?
That's Baron. Invincible checks the tab and his entire team is dead. NIP going for that tower dive onto Yagao, burning so much and even flashing forward. But you need to remember, you're up against the Xayah and Viktor, where you're just playing into their hands. And with all the abilities hitting, they just had no way out. As the tower finishes off, I believe Zhuo? Someone died here to the tower. It was Zhuo. And Shadow got focused down from Shun's ultimate landing. And this is a big turnaround for BLG. We were just saying how the dragon is the first step for a comeback. I mean, with all this gold into their hands, this is definitely a winnable game again.
First, you get the dragon. Then you get the team fight. Then you get the Baron power play. It's all part of the plan here for BLG, as they've turned a 7,000 gold deficit into a that's a 5,000 gold swing in the space of about 90 seconds. That is unheard of. It's still a 2,000 gold lead in the mid lane, so Yagao definitely not having the best of times. Elk can be forced to cleanse away, does have the feathers to fly. Good ultimate there to stop anyone from really pushing forward. As I say that, Invincible looking to try and do it. They will trade back 80 carries, though. The turret doing significant work on this backside. A flash away from Shadow is not going to save you. Oh, no, Kitty. Oh, no. They must be a quarterback playing American football, because they are throwing this 80 yards down the field.
They're throwing so hard, Oisin. I can't. That was a 4v5 Dream. One of your main DPS just wasn't in the fight. And Shadow catching all these Sejuani ultimates. No way out either. Even burning the flash, but it doesn't matter. The Viktor, the Xayah, and the Firoa, they're all online now with this Baron, taking down these major tower objectives. And even the dragon is spawning in 40 seconds. What is happening in this game? Is BLG really going to come back?
I don't know. It's going to be pretty much equal gold now in a minute or two with the way these fights are going, because they're picking up towers, they're picking up objectives, farm, kills. The advantage in that mid lane is great, but it's not going to mean squat if Yagao is able to get his 2 items out of nowhere. 20 seconds to this dragon. You know what the great thing is as well for the side of BLG? They don't even have to fight this if they don't want to. They are in such a great position now because of that first dragon take that they're just saying, look, we don't have to care about this if it ends up going in a bit of a skewy way. That's not going to work out for us. So really, really bad times. And you know, NIP, no flashes on anyone except Dream. No real aggressive summoners either. Shadow is being shadowed, and someone's after being caught out. It's Dream who lost his flash. One more auto attack flash, hook, and they're looking to try and secure him down. The ignite is good enough as On gets revenge. And oh my lord, NIP, your season is flashing before your eyes. But BLG, this is what we wanted to see from them. Yes, you can play from ahead, but can you play from behind? The answer is a resounding yes if they get given so many opportunities, so many chances to be able to do it.
Dream was the last standing hope for NIP, and even he dies, burning the flash as well, no longer having that escape ability. Second dragon going to the hands of BLG. This game is no longer in the hands of NIP. He's been just in the side lane doing absolutely just CSing. He's been watching all these fights happen, and this is great news because the Viktor now picking up his Zhonya's very soon. He's no longer going to see the threat of NIP chucking every single ultimate onto his head, as Xayah does have that ultimate. Oh, Zhuo not in the same spot.
No, he did not learn from his Tristana's mistakes. And he ends up losing his flash. So no flash Tibbers. No Tibbers, to be perfectly honest, at all. So
just
more and more pressure. It's just so difficult right now for NIP because you look at all the engage options. Apart from the anti-Tibbers, which has just been taken away because the flash doesn't exist, it's all on BLG. They have the Nautilus. They have the Sejuani. They have ways of kiting back from these fights because of the Viktor and the Xayah. So right now, you're just trying your very best. Look, it's a 3-item Aphelios. You're doing great on that front, but who deals with Bin? No one, because they're going to have to deal with him. I mean, they're going to look to try and make... They're going to try 4v5, but again, look at the kiting back. They can't do it. Shadow gets hooked up here. They drop down the gravity well to make sure they can catch out Invincible, who gets hooked up, stunned up, and cannot move for the remainder of this fight. Bin's like, oh, will I join you guys? Nah, you got this. I'm going to go back to mid lane. Don't worry about it. And now Photic, though, feeling confident, pushing forward with the Infernum. Has got Ghost available. Goes he flash forward. He's going to look for one. He's going to look for another. 2 kills over to Photic. He is grabbing NIP by the scruff of their necks and saying, we are not losing this game. He does have flash, and he should be able to kill off Yagao.
He's actually going for it.
He's going really far, and now Bin joins the party. Immediately, he has been pushed back and away. Now Bin needs to run for his life. As the Tibbers gets dropped down immediately, it is a game of catch as both teams are desperate to get rid of this game and throw it to the other team, but we settle down, we come back in. It's less than 1,000 gold lead. It's 2 dragons each. It's basically an equal game in all senses of the word.
Look, Bin is really regretting not coming into the play that first time where he just turned his head as he was like, yo team, are you guys winning? Okay, I'm gonna go back to pushing mid lane, because they did get that pick onto Invincible where the play should have just died, but with Photic activating that Ghost, they just couldn't escape the speed from this Aphelios also having the flash online extremely soon. So it was just a bit of an overplay from BLG, getting a little bit too greedy. But credits to Photic bursting down L, totally unexpected. And with that lethal tempo available, he is just chasing these guys down. Has been rotating back on the minimap, but is a little bit too late as you didn't get that tower in mid lane either.
And Kitty feels like NIP are not going to be able to escape this one here. He goes all out over the wall. To get actually riposted on that, so Bin did not go with him. I actually feel like Bin maybe wanted to go with him on that particular journey, but not to be. Baron spawning in a second is live. 2 minutes to the next Dragon. Dream, level 14. Has got his 3rd item, I believe it was the Phantom Dancer, so doing exceptionally well in that regard, but the game is getting harder and harder for NIP and BLG. They just need to keep themselves going forward. Look to try and catch people out on the side lanes like this, where Dream is a little bit isolated. But 380 carries means that if you get a couple of significant death timers on the side of BLG, you will just lose your base.
You also need to remember, with these 80 carries in your hand, you can't let this vision, not let this Baron have no vision, because it will get shredded by the matter of seconds. So they have to act extremely fast with planting down or regaining that vision control in this top side. Zhuo, I think, is kind of flying under our radar. 1-1 and 11 assists. He is having an exceptional game, other than getting caught in that bottom lane, having to burn the flash. But it doesn't matter as long as you don't die, as they are just denying so much vision from BLG.
Oh, Shadow! Not where you need to be. He flashes in, tries to get himself away, but he has been caught and killed. TP comes in from Invincible. He already wants to try and back himself away from the situation. Does not want anything to do with where this jungle and top lane of BLG are bringing him. Plenty of damage on the Shun. Flash forward. The Dread Grind does not land. Photic getting great use out of that Gale Force to keep himself alive. This time around, though, it lands onto Invincible, and that's going to be your tank going down. He's confirmed dead. Photic doing decent work to make sure that Yagao can't move forward. That Tibbers is acting as a bouncer, a pseudo frontline, if you will. 20 seconds till the next dragon spawns. You would imagine BLG, they're going to look for that potentially. They are moving themselves away from it. Yagao is very low on mana and in health. He would love to get a reset in before they go for any kind of objective. Yep,
Shadow is getting baited with his Radiant Virtue, as you need to remember that Maokai is that fake tank. Only health, no resistance. Is NIP gonna sneak Baron, as they think BLG is gonna go for that 3rd dragon? Bin is gonna solo it, but BLG catching on to this as Shun is making his way up there.
Yeah, Bin's actually going to TP in. They know they can go for this one here. 5,000 HP. They've got Baron vision as well. It would have been a little bit of sneak, but there was great forward vision here for BLG that made sure they did not lose it. But good from NIP, to be perfectly honest. They don't lose anything. They gain enough time for Invincible to respawn. And with those Hex Gates, he gets himself back into the position to potentially look for a bit of a 5v5. This could be a kitty. It is equal on gold for the first time since we've talked about it.
On back.
Now we're going to see a bit of a reset. Don't forget, On had to go for a reset himself, but he's got the Hex Gates to maybe make something work. There's going to be the ultimate coming out there from the Maokai to see if he can keep this Baron down, secure it. Now will the fight happen afterwards? There's going to be a ghost used. The Glacial Prison just whips on the ankles of Shadow as now there's a little bit of a stun going down the big. He just gets him deleted. Caught out and nowhere to go, but the Chaos Storm is decent. They're trying to let the feathers fly and everyone's trying to jump in. Dream, though, jumps a little bit too far forward. Has got the stopwatch and will have to use it almost immediately. There's going to be more movement going forward as they flash in. Yagao is now the target. He flashes away. No way really for Invincible to get over the wall, and they're going to have to try and reset this fight. Yagao does have TP should he need it. They're looking for him. They don't know exactly where he is. 3, 2, no, not going to have it. There's going to be Invincible popping the ghost, and it's almost certain that Yagao is going to die here now. Probably should have TP'd out, got a little greedy with wanting to try and keep that summoner spell, but it's still soul point to BLG.
Soul point to BLG, but at what cost? Your solo laners die and the Baron's going to the hands of NIP where they come back once. How many times have we said come back in this game? Because we mentioned this double ADC in the composition of NIP. They can just sneak the Baron. Everyone focuses down this Firoa as she is so split off from the rest of the team. And that's thanks to the Maokai ultimate planted from earlier as they were doing Baron. But you need to focus on Dream on this Tristana as she pushes Elk away from this team fight, and that's your ADC gone. All up to Yagao, but Yagao is getting focused down by Invincible where he doesn't have the damage to deal with something like this Ksante. But there's going to be more fighting in the mid lane as they are looking to open up the base.
I mean, this Baron buff is so powerful with a double AD carry composition. You can do so much with this. They'll break open the base with ease. No real defense to be coming out here from BLG, and they've got top lane pushing in as well. This could be it. You've got another minute or a little bit more than a minute with this Baron buff. You need to make the most of it.
They are just going to look to get this top tier, top inhibitor as Invincible is also buffing up the minions. Sorry, I'm losing my mind over this game too. I believe NIP had one of the longest games in the spring split so far. 53 minutes. Very messy for both sides, but this is looking just as messy as BLG, giving them angles to come back. 2 items for both the Viktor and Firoa. Ooh, an ultimate from Xun, not going to do too much.
No, they're not going to get a lot out of that one. They're trying to put down damage on the Photic, as you can see, not quite getting burst out. Gale Force forward means that the feathers must fly, and now Invincible is dead. Not as invincible as his namesake says, and Shadow dies as well. Double kill coming out here for Elk, and the rest of their team, you don't really have a lot of protection available to you. And everyone backs themselves away. NIP just biting off a little bit too much more than they can chew. And they all kind of move forward. And interesting as well, actually, Bilibili have the higher of the average game durations, 32-34 versus in Pyjamas 31-55. So they both roughly like to get to this point, but the later this game goes on, you do tend to feel like it becomes less and less about gold, less and less about these champions, and more about the execution, summoner spells, things that are going to make the difference in these games.
I think my eyes are definitely on both ADCs. We saw Photic playing extremely aggressive, even Elk playing forward as a Xayah with that Gale Force available and catches Shadow off guard. Zhuo gonna get collected from the side of Dream as he is going to have a second line for these team fights. The Viktor and the Firoa are coming online, however, and that silent pressure is really going to start suffocating the side of NIP. Even having the mid inhibitor taken down, I think the Viktor and Xayah is gonna deal with it more than fine.
We wait and see who will be making it. Level 16, 17s, nearly 18s. Actually, I was actually just noticing Elk is 2 levels ahead of Photic. That is a significant amount of stats being going over. He's full build now on this Xayah. He is fully online. GA available to Dream. No flash, though, for him. That could be huge coming into this next fight. Baron up in 2 minutes. There's no real objective. Shadow gets caught off. An immediate teleport gets used here on trying to be the one to initiate. They do kind of get caught out there by the Roots. Is a little bit bin on the backside here. They've isolated Invincible. He pops his ghost and his teleport now gone, so he's losing 2 summoners after this fight. BLG know they need to get back in towards that mid lane if they need to try and stop this push, but they don't want to lose control over this Baron pit. Photic playing away from the side of the lane, and everyone should be able to reset. They shouldn't be able to gain anything else from this.
NIP does gain that mid lane priority, however, pushing in the base now, pressuring Bin to TP back and respond to this play. But Bin doesn't care. He's a Giga Chad. He is calling your bluff and getting that T2 tower down.
Giga Chad or a solo queue split pusher? I don't know. Like,
he's a Giga Chad. It's Bin, okay? He's already attacking the inhibitor tower, forcing NIP now to back and respond to this Firoa, as the dragon is going to be spawning in 40 seconds alongside the Baron. So that's going to allow BLG to regain their vision for both of these major objectives. But I think if I were the side of BLG, I would pretend to do dragon and then just sneak the Baron under NIP's noses.
I don't know. It's a soul, though, right now. This is such a huge buff. 4 Hex Dragons? That is so much ability haste and attack speed. It is so much to be able to kind of build from your team. It's kind of insane right there. You could almost honestly justify getting rid of the rapid fire cannon on Elk and trading it out just straight up for, like, I don't know, a Storm Razor or something like that, because you wouldn't need the attack speed. It's insane the amount of power that kind of a dragon can give you. But now, already we see Photic going golden, Invincible trying to play keep away. He gets a shielding coming out as well. The Maokai ult is used to disengage. His Bin is on the backside with a GA. Plenty to be working for, but yeah, lots burned there from the side of NIP.
Yeah. All the engage from NIP, but Maokai and the ultimate gone, so it's going to be really tough trying to opt into a winning fight now, as BLG, however, loses this control over Dragon. It is soul point for them, so if NIP gets this and BLG plays for the 5v5 and ace them, it might be game.
Here we go. Dragon going down, secured by the side of NIP, but they're being pushed into like fish in a barrel. Bing going forward. They're trying to just soak up as much damage. Shun doing the exact same thing. The Chaos Storm is good. Hell flashes away. They're losing it a little bit. Dream goes forward. Immediately after the flash away, they're trying to get on the Photic, who flashes back, and they've left Invincible alone. Can he get over the wall? He cannot. You gained the Dragon, but you may have lost the Baron. You won the battle, but did you lose the war? That is the question right now. BLG versus NIP, 3 dragons apiece, 16 kills apiece. 1 tower to the good, as we can see Dream going forward. He wants that damage onto Elk. We'll get a significant amount of it, but he won't be able to kill off the AD carry.
But now with Invincible dead, Bin is just going to pressure the bottom lane as the Baron is unavailable. So if BLG wants to delay this, I think Firoa could just back them. They have back.
They have, and Zhuo is dead. That's 2 people dead now. You're in a 3v5. Shadow hasn't been able to find himself a safe space either, so he's going to get caught out. And now you can see Photic. He looks for Yagao, but they've killed the jungler. Even if Yagao dies here, which he doesn't, they're going to be able to take the Baron without contest.
Photic's out. No, he's not. He's gonna...
Oh, yes!
Where is he going?
He's able to run away, but Bin is chasing him. I don't know if Bin's going to be able to find him. He doesn't land the riposte, and he's going to lose his GA. Photic keeps himself alive, but they've lost the Baron now. BLG getting more and more out of this game the longer it goes on. It does feel like NIP have the damage, but the execution's just not quite there.
The execution isn't there. Bin also TPs in and makes that numbers advantage, as NIP's entire team fight was so split. Photic barely getting out the tiniest bit of HP, dodging the parry by like a millimeter. But that is going to be this major objective in the hands of BLG, and they're in the driver's seat once again. We see Dream desperately trying to make these engages happen, but I think the Maokai ultimates just aren't getting used correctly, where they are lacking that engage.
Oh, Kitty, it's getting so scary right now. A couple more gold for Yagao would give him his Void Staff, which would be one-shot territory for someone like Zhuo. Has gone for Morel Namacon. Honestly, I would have preferred to see him go with the...
No, Oisin, don't say the Chem... Oh, Mikhail's?
No, Mikhail's. I don't care about Chem. I don't give a damn about the Chem. More so, I need you to save my AD carries. I need you to make sure that Photic and Dream aren't getting CC'd and dying.
Look, Photic isn't the one dying. It's Shadow that's the one dying, but he shouldn't be getting instantly one-shot where it makes it a 4v5. Now we see the 4-1 pressure coming out of BLG. Shadow using the ultimate.
Yeah, they're looking to try and burn out Sean. He's very tanky, but not that tanky. The gravity well is good to try and disengage, so it's a 1 for none. Bin was trying to make something work on the backside, but the base has been cracked open again. No inhibitors available for either side. Baron for Bin means that he can put down some significant pressure. Draw back NIP. This game, Kitty, is cresting upon 40 minutes, and we are still no closer to finding ourselves a winner. I will be honest with you, we're probably not going to see another big fight for at least another minute 45 seconds.
And we see full builds coming online for both ADCs. Shun got instantly deleted as both ADCs do have that armor pen as we come into this game at 40 minutes. But Bin on this Firoa, this is where this pick gets so annoying because you have to force those 4v5s as Bin doesn't have that TP available just quite yet. So NIP needs to take every single chance they can get and kill one by one with these straggling ultimates from the Shadow.
I mean, we've already seen a boot sell by Elk. Got himself a GA and more damage. So he's not compromising on any of his damage right now. He is just happy to keep pushing forward with what he's got for the moment. So going to be a little bit slower than you would anticipate, but has plenty of survivability on this Xayah. Still no flash on him. Actually, we'll have it roughly around the same time as Photic, so both AD carries probably really aware of when they're going to be getting that. And 18 is pretty much across the board now. Even the supports are nearing towards having level 16 on their ultimates. Oh, there's going to be a catch on the Shadow. Oh no!
Shadow, no!
Oh no! Oh, that's not what you need to be doing. 35 seconds. This is a 50-second death timer. That's Soul. You can't contest this.
You can't contest this, and Bin having that TP up very soon. That's your jungler dead. No vision for this dragon whatsoever. They can just take 2 inhibitors, dip out, get that Hextech Soul, and focus on the bottom lane now.
It's just little small mistakes. NIP going from 3-8 maybe to 3-9. They threw everything at this game. They had it. Remember, at one point it was a 7,000 gold lead. They are now behind by 4. Gold doesn't really make that big of a difference right now, but such a desperate attempt there for Shadow. And you can see what he wanted to do. He wanted to put down saplings. He wanted to put down vision to make sure they get something out of this. But now Zhuo might be in a little bit of trouble. Already seeing him taking a fair bit of damage, but the ghost has been burned by Bin.
Invincible is making his way back with the Hextech Gate, so it realistically can still be winnable if NIP plays with... Oh, it's gone! I mean, Elpis does so much damage with the 6 offensive items. Yagao needs to get out, however, he's out of position.
The solo laners versus the world. BLG looking to try and make this one work, but the rest of their team shall not let them die in vain. Dream has to flash away as Elk doing so much here on the backside. Has to cleanse as the roots of the tree do land onto him. Bin is still off the backside, but that is Hex Soul now. We've had a full plate of Drake, 7 elementals, and we are still 5.5 minutes away from even seeing an Elder Drake in this game. I will say, though, with the death on Yagao, which should slow down any kind of push right now, but 2 inhibitors down make this so difficult. I will say, though, yes, you 2 inhibitors down. Ninja's Pyjamas have 280 carries, though, so they should be able to burn these waves pretty easily.
Yep, hopefully Shadow doesn't get caught before this major objective, which is going to be spawning in 1 minute on this Baron. As Yagao did get caught, he didn't want to burn his flash. A little bit greedy there, but it doesn't matter too much as the Baron is still a little bit further away. But NIP going to get the Skull Crab and Vision onto this. However, with the inhibitors gone, Bin is going to pressure this 3rd inhibitor, and Invincible can't deal with that, so they have to force a 4v4 in this mid lane.
Oh. It is getting harder and harder to see where you kind of go from here as NIP. You don't really have the greatest of engages. You're looking to try and catch them out, maybe get Invincible to get on top of Elf, bring him out of the fight, and then just survive while you take out the rest of the team. But full items being picked up by top laners, mid laners, 80 carries, everyone. We're almost there for its supports as well. This is where this game has gone. 4 Hex Dragons is just so much right now for both these teams.
And you need to know that even if NIP gets a good engage off, you're playing into a Viktor and Xayah, which is exactly what they want. They want you to play into them, walk forward as the Xayah feathers CC the enemy team. But Bin, once again in this bottom lane, Invincible definitely feeling the pressure. You might need one more person, but that might just be Baron for BLG.
Might well be it. You've got the Hextech prowess giving you 36 ability haste, 36%. It's bonus attack speed. Baron's dead. Can they look for a fight? They're looking to try and push this one there using the Maokai ultimate, but Bin might be ending the game. They get Sean, who doesn't do anything less than he can. Zhuo is dead. Maokai is gone. The base is crumbling, and I feel like we've hit critical mass. Dream gets caught out. A triple kill for Elk to end it all, and Bin has been ending the game. A split pushing Firoa is a happy Firoa. Quadra kill actually coming out for Elk at the end of it all. But it is going to be the end. He wants the Penta. Elk is hunting for it. He doesn't have a flash. Invincible. Can he run away? He has Ghost. He doesn't want it. He's so slow. He doesn't have boots, Kitty. Oh, he's going to try and maybe give it to him. No. Ghost's away. And the game is over. BLG 2-0 NIP. They tried everything, but they are not able to make it happen. BLG come back in game number 2, but my God, was it scrappy.
It was so scrappy, but in the end, BLG secures this game 2, and they really need to VOD review on what went wrong in that game. From a 7k gold lead in the hands of NIP, they turn it around, and this game just felt so messy from both teams. I mean, it was one of the longest games that we've had in the LPL. However, Elk on the Xayah standing up for these later on team fights as he got a quadra